All right, now that we're done with all the brewery history, let's talk about George Remus. And I got a picture of George Remus right here. This dude it looks like a straight up pimp, and he is.
Gangster.
So we're going to start talking about him.
Yes, so George Remus was born in Berlin, Germany, and then he moved to Chicago, Illinois when he was 5 with his family. He quickly became a successful pharmacist and trial lawyer by 19 years old. And then, so in 1920, he, after the Volstead Act had been passed, Prohibition, he realized there was a bunch of money that could be made in the bootlegging industry. So he realized Chicago was already basically taken up by gangsters and thugs. So he saw Cincinnati as a great opportunity to make some money. So he moved to Cincinnati in 1920, and almost immediately he's just insanely successful. So he bought a giant mansion on Queen City Avenue, where he'd throw these legendary parties. On one party, he actually gave away 50 cars to all the wives of the men that had came to the party, and he gave each groom a diamond stick pin for their coat. So, and by that time, he was making over $10 million a year.
It was actually the idea behind The Great Gatsby.
Yes, this is where the story of The Great Gatsby was inspired from George Remus. Very little known about, cult hero almost. So his reign was actually pretty short. By 1925, he was indicted on charges of bribery and money laundering, and then he was sent down to Atlanta to serve a 2-year prison sentence. And while
in those 2 years,
yes,
the dude who arrested him was cheating on his wife.
Yes,
so
his wife Imogene.
So when he came back,
yep,
he was pretty ticked off about that, and he shot her up in the Eden Park gazebo up there.
Yes.
So I didn't personally know that. That's a crazy story.
He came home from Atlanta. Imogene Remus, his old wife, had divorced him. So he comes home to find out that his entire fortune and everything was completely gone. So he eventually had his cab driver chase down his wife as she was trying to get away. And then he caught up to her at Eden Park, and this is not 100% factual, or I don't know if it's 100% true, but it's sort of a legend that he chased her down in Eden Park and shot her to death in the gazebo. So then, since he was a trial lawyer in his previous days, he fought for himself in his trial. He pled not guilty by reason of insanity. He was acquitted, and he did no jail time for the murder of his wife. And then he eventually died in 1952.
Probably alone.
Yep, he lived pretty quietly after his reign, and he's just a legend that no real West Siders or Cincinnatians really seem to know the history behind. So I think it's pretty interesting.